all the way through. It melted and it burned a hole in my counter. Oh my God.
So I got sent this video a few days ago from one of our page's followers asking if I could go over what caused this to happen. And while I don't have that candle specifically, I have some ideas on what went on here. So let's talk about it. First thing I noticed is I believe that candle was burned way longer than 4 hours at a time, and that the wick wasn't actually trimmed to what it was supposed to be. Reason being, you shouldn't have a bunch of carbon laying at the bottom of your candle. The only way that really happens is if the wick gets too long and it breaks off and falls into the wax. So a wick that hasn't been trimmed can cause a larger diameter flame than what you're actually going for and cause the sides of the container to heat up, causing your label to melt on the side. So that's especially true when you have one of these cheap thin metal containers like this from Walmart, or I've been seeing them all over the place lately, but it's especially important to trim your wicks when you're using a metal container. These are some of my least favorite containers that people use to make candles in for this exact reason. It's not meant to have a candle burning in it. No candle should ever be burned as low as that one was. You should stop when the wax is about 1/4 of an inch or so deep, so it can kind of insulate some of that heat from the bottom of, or from whatever your candle's sitting on. A tin container made for candles should have raised, like bubbled out kind of feet on the bottom so that you can have air circulation underneath there. So what's happening with this can is it has a sealed ring basically that it's sitting on, just like any other can would, but the heat can't go anywhere. So all it's doing is just getting hotter and hotter and hotter underneath there and just burning, scalding, or whatever, melting whatever surface it's sitting on. So that's unsafe. And lastly, probably the most important part of candle making is wick testing. I spend hundreds of hours really on wick testing if we release a new style of container. Because we need to make sure it has good scent throw. You need to make sure that it's safe to burn. It's not going to give you a big tall torch flame or whatever. It's not going to be too wide of a flame and get the sides of the container super hot where you can't even touch it. Mainstays isn't in the business of caring whether they're making a high quality product. They're in the business of getting as many candles as Walmart will take on their shelves. That's where the priorities sit once you get into a big box brand versus a small business. So I appreciate anybody who supports a small business, even if it's not mine. There's a lot of thought and a lot of hard work that goes into a good product.